Welcome to the lecture on the installation of .NET Specflow project. So in this lecture, I will tell you what kind of tools you will require to install on your system. So first thing that you will need to install is .NET Core SDK, and this is the link .net.microsoft.com/download, from where you can download this .NET Core SDK. So this is the page, and from here you will find Windows, Linux, Mac OS, Docker tab. Out of that, since I'm using Mac OS, I'm downloading Mac OS version of .NET Core SDK. Once it is downloaded and installed, you can execute this command called as .NET-info, and it should display the SDK here. So as you can see, I'm using this 3.1.301. that is the .NET SDK that I'm using. But if you look down here, it will show you the list of all the SDKs that you have installed. So you can install multiple SDKs and also use one of them. By default, it will use the latest SDK. But if you want to use different SDK, that is also possible from within project. But I will recommend that you use the latest SDK only. If you have installed just one SDK, here it will just show your SDK, just one SDK. And you can also see at what location that SDK is installed. And down here it also shows the runtimes that are installed. When you install the SDK, runtimes are also installed. Now the difference between SDK and runtimes is that SDK is required to develop the applications, .NET Core applications, and runtime is useful to run those applications. Since we are developing the application, we need SDK. But if you want to just run the applications, then only runtimes are required. Next thing that you will need is you need to download and install the Visual Studio for Mac. And this is the link from where you can download that Visual Studio for Mac. Once Visual Studio is installed, you can open it and then install this straight edge extension for the Specflow. So here you can see Visual Studio for Mac is open, and if you want to install the extension, just go to Visual Studio and then click on extensions. And in here, you have to go to gallery and then type Specflow. So you can see there is one extension called a straight edge Specflow integration. So just click on that and then click on install. I have already installed it, so that's why it is saying uninstall, and you can enable it. By default, it will be enabled when you install it. So the reason why we need is this extension is that when we right click and create a new item in the project, for example, this is one of the project, and if you go to add and then click on new file, here you will see the Specflow section, and then you can add the feature, step definition, or event definition. So without that extension, these options are not available. But as I said, it is optional. You can still create the text file and then rename it to .feature. Next step is we want to create the NUnit project. So open the Visual Studio and there go to File and then create a new project or new solution. And in here, in the web and console, you should see the tests text. Just click on that and then there will be a template. So you can see there is a NUnit test project template. Just click on that, click on next. Here you have to select the .NET Core target framework. So select the latest one, then click on next. Here you have to give the project name. So project name is normally actually your organization's name followed by the actual specific project that you are working on. So this is my organization name, and then you can put here, let us say, Specflow project. And this is the solution name. In a solution, there can be multiple projects. So right now we are just adding one project, that is this one. We can call it test because I'm gonna put tests there. Here you have to browse to the location where you want to save this project or solution. Just click on browse and select the location where you want to install or save that. So I'm gonna put it in C#, and then click on create. Also make sure that this is ticked so that a solution directory, a project directory will be created within the solution directory. So just click on create, and then your project should be automatically created for you. So some of the important files in this project are this one. You can see here in this .cs proj file, these packages have been automatically added for you. So to execute any NUnit tests, you need these three important packages: NUnit 3 test adapter and Microsoft.NET.test.sdk. And as you can see, this is the solution, and in that solution this is one of the projects. So here, if you want to add another project, just right click and then go to add, and over there you can click new project. Okay, so we have added or created new NUnit project. Now what we need to do is we need to add the references or the packages that are required to create the Specflow feature files and bindings. So these are the packages that we will need to install for the Specflow. So just go to the Visual Studio Code, then go to the project, right click on that, and then click on add, or you can click on manage NuGet packages directly as well. Then you have to search here for the Specflow, or there you can see Specflow, then Specflow NUnit and Specflow tools msbuild.generation. So these three packages are required. So I'll briefly tell you what is the purpose of each of these. Specflow is the core package that is required if you want to use the Specflow or the binding, those all the attributes that are provided by the Specflow framework, then that is required. Now Specflow.NUnit, this is required if you want to integrate your Specflow with NUnit testing framework. Since we are using NUnit testing framework, that's why we have added this package. Otherwise we wouldn't need that. If you are using different testing framework, we will not need this Specflow.NUnit. Instead of NUnit, there will be another package. For example, if you are using XUnit, then as you can see there is another package, Specflow.XUnit, or if you are using mstest, you can use Specflow.mstest. So as you can see, Specflow can work with different types of testing frameworks. So since we are just targeting NUnit, I have added that package. And there is finally another last package, that is Specflow tools.msbuild.generation. This is required to create the code behind files. Now after that, just you have to click on add packages. So what will happen is that this .csproj file will be updated with those packages. So this file basically tells what all references or packages are referenced by your project. So as you can see at the top, it is showing the status, adding 3 packages. And after this process is finished, there will be total 6 packages in here. Click on accept. As you can see, the 2 packages have already been added, and we are just waiting for the last one, and the last one is also added. So once all these packages are added, we are ready to go. We can write the feature file and then execute it. So in the next lecture, I will explain you how you can write the feature file and add the scenarios in that and execute it. Thank you.